Neighbourhood Watch, Chapter 24. On their way to the coast, Laura went through every possible scenario of what might have happened. The tune of "He Ain't Heavy" played in her mind. The police dog handler had fallen asleep on the passenger seat, so Laura turned off the radio. When she parked the official car behind her own Honda 1.5 hours later, she had come to the conclusion that Sam and Nigel must have drowned Bruce in the channel to get the money to support the political campaign of the NF. She stepped into the bright sunshine. It felt like a slap in the face. Rain. Why didn't it rain today? When her hopes for a good end to her sad family saga were destroyed with one single stroke by Nigel. Her mobile rang. "I have a surprise for you, big sister," she heard her brother's voice. "I have one for you too," Laura replied. "I'm just by my car. I found you. Don't dare to hang up." She had the typical beep indicating that the line was dead and turned her flushed face towards the seafront promenade. It was nearly empty. Only 3 old people with walking frames were out for a walk. "I'll kill that boy," Laura growled between her teeth. That was the moment all hell broke loose. "Here you are," she heard her brother's voice and turned around. The car door swung open and the dog handler sprang from the car, dragging Linda Lou with him. Both came running towards Laura in order to protect her, but Nigel was quicker. Laura's eyes widened. She had never seen her brother wearing a dark business suit and shining black shoes. Even his hair looked like he had paid a visit to a proper hairdresser. But the impression didn't last. Nigel and the dog handler arrived at Laura at the same instant. Linda Lou obviously mistook the meeting as assault on her master. Her initial barking changed to a snarl. Then she jumped and hit Nigel squarely in the chest. He fell backwards and yelled. The officer grabbed Linda Lou's collar and tried to drag her away. Finally, he succeeded, but Linda Lou took the sleeve of Nigel's smart suit with her. "You're nuts!" Laura cried and helped Nigel up. "The same to you," Nigel replied. "This is where I want to stay." They heard Bruce in the background. In his wheelchair, he came down the long paved driveway from a Victorian mansion. It shone like a promise, and the old man's face showed something Laura took as half a smile. They met Bill at the McCarthy's house 2 hours later. On their way back to Guildford, the dog handler had discreetly mentioned the possibility that Laura might have drawn the wrong conclusions in the McCartney case as well. Sometimes the things are exactly the opposite of what we expect, those, he had said. They reminded Laura of Yash. All of the neighbors' curtains moved in unison and Laura sighed. Linda Lou jumped out of the car. She looked tired from the scones of the cream tea they had all had at Nigel's place, but became more lively as they approached the McCarthy's house. "What do you lot want again? Anything new from my father?" Wilbur asked as he saw them come closer. He stepped onto the wooden porch and put down his spade. The heap of earth beside the fence had been removed, and 2 tiny hills formed the base for a small, gently curved bridge over the brook. McCarthy's eyes widened, and his peanut nose went a crimson red when he spotted the sniffing Alsatian. Laura nodded her head in the direction of the 2 new mounts, and the dog handler led Linda Lou over. She showed little interest, but when she turned towards the patio, she got very excited. She wagged her tail. Her body stiffened. Her neck grew longer and longer. She moved forward, stiffly as she was suffering from rheumatism. Finally, she put her head back and started barking. Laura looked into the dog handler's eyes. He nodded in agreement and said, Let's call Vasoko. Something is hidden under the patio. Wilbur McCarthy fell to his knees and started crying. Laura could hardly understand him when he uttered, "I can explain it. It is not as it seems." That's what they all say. Everybody could understand Mrs. Farmer's accusing voice very clearly from behind the trellis. We mentioned it right at the beginning. The patio is the only place we cannot see.